Good morning, Paul. It's Thursday, the 10th of November. Here's the heads up brief for today.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Paul, in Indonesia, a protest was muted for today in Bandung. We're unsure what time it starts today, but this is over the minimum wage. As you noted yesterday, the minimum wage issue is likely to be spread and politicized in the coming months.
Thanks.
Also in Indonesia, the G20 summit will be held on November 15th and 16th in Bali, and security is really tight at the moment there.
Okay.
In the Philippines, Paul, residents and environmental activists are against Shell's proposed LNG terminal near the Verde Island Passage in the Batangas project area.
Okay. I'd be interested to see how much momentum or how much coverage the activists have there, because that's a fairly important project. Okay.
All right, Paul, sure.
Hone in
Paul,
on that for me. Thanks.
yeah. Paul, in Thailand, 30,000 police have been deployed to Bangkok for the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit that it will be held on November 18th to 19th.
Okay, great. If you need that many police, there's a problem, isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Paul, also in Thailand. So the opposition had pushed for a motion to amend the constitution. So that will be discussed in a Senate meeting agenda later this month.
What are they pushing to change?
Paul, they want the power of the Senate to be removed, the 250 lawmakers, and
Yep.
yeah, that's a major change.
Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing a little assessment on that
Sure.
by early next week if we could.
Yep. Consider it done, Paul. Paul, in Papua New Guinea, authorities are considering a visa system for Port Moresby, like a localized identity card
Yes.
kind of thing. This is to
Yep.
monitor rural to urban migration. Now, this comes after ethnic violence and a buildup of illegal settlements across the capital.
Yeah, well, that's a nice cop out from actually having law and order, isn't it? Instead of having a functioning police, funding the police, building it up, instead of giving it lip service, you come up with an ID system. Certainly that's required, but it's kind of like, let's get some basic systems like a judicial system that works, a police force that's funded, police force that's appropriate for the amount of security incidents you have, money being used to fund civil authorities and institutions rather than fund the wealth of a few politicians that are all pretending they care. It's another PNG patch up matter. Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, Paul. So, moving over to South Asia, in Bangladesh, the ruling Awami League is going to be holding a large rally in Dhaka tomorrow. Now, it is a commemoration event for the party's founding, but it's also pretty much a show of force for the 2023 elections. There were also some terrorism arrests in Bangladesh. Now, this is concerning because of the increasing political and communal tensions in the country ahead of the elections.
Okay, good. Thank you.
In Pakistan, Paul, Imran Khan's march to Islamabad is set to resume today.
Well, let's look at how that actually occurs and what impact it has and if it's
Yep.
gathering momentum, because there seems to be a lot of hot air coming out of everything that is Imran Khan at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, Paul. Moving over to India, authorities have increased security in a part of Nagaland, which is in the northeast of the country, due to communal clashes. Now, we've been monitoring the trend of rising incidents of communal clashes across India over the last year, so this is another example of it manifesting.
Thanks. Yep.
Paul, lastly, in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region, Russia yesterday announced its military withdrawal from Kherson City, which was seized in the early days of the war in February.
Yeah, look, and I mean, it's being reported in the Western media like it always is with one eye that they're having troubles and it's a strategic problem and everything's negative from a Western analyst perspective about Russia. But we need to look at if there's some wrangling behind closed doors and if this may not be the beginning of a way out for ending the war. Okay, just keep a close eye on that. I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye, and certainly what the Western media is reporting is, as usual, it's one eye and it's not engaged with a CPU or a brain. Okay.
Yeah, noted, Paul will follow this closely. That's the heads up brief for today, Paul. Anything from you?
No, thanks.
All right, thanks, Paul.